Good morning, Destiny family. I'm ministering in one of our network churches in California this morning, so I just wanted to share a few things by video before Pastor Chris comes to speak. We've been talking about first world problems and looking at the book of Philippians as it's honestly really impacted me personally during this time. I'm very excited about all God is doing in us, among us, and through us right now. I hope that this past week you've read Philippians chapter 2 every day, and it's probably no surprise that our assignment next week will be to read Philippians chapter 3 every day. Remember, Paul is writing from prison, and this is likely to be a caged hole in the ground where he's writing from. Yet this has become known as the Epistle of Joy. The main theme we learn is to get past ourselves into an attitude of honoring others above ourselves. I really find it interesting that Jesus teaches us to love others the way we love ourselves. A healthy attitude doesn't put yourself down all the time. There's actually a healthy and biblical way to love yourself. Jesus is simply saying it's easy to consider our own needs. The goal is to move beyond being consumed with ourselves so that we can care for the needs of others in the same way we automatically care for ourselves. If we're not careful, we can become so self-absorbed that we spend our entire lives chasing what we want while neglecting what we need. What you want isn't always what you need. It's not worth losing your soul to gain the world. Even when we do get what we want, many times we realize we still don't even have what it is that we need. It's almost a mystery, and the answers are found in the loving, serving, giving nature of Jesus. When our thinking is right, nothing can stop us. When our thinking is wrong, nothing can help us. I really want to help you have an effective time as you read Philippians 3 this next week. When you understand Paul's background, you'll see that he reveals something very interesting in this particular chapter. He was actually an expert on understanding that self-worth can never be discovered in personal accomplishments. Paul had some amazing accomplishments, really beyond our wildest imagination, which is why he writes in Philippians chapter 3, verses 4 through 9, I myself have reasons for such confidence. If anyone thinks he has reasons to put confidence in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day, of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, in regarding to the law, a Pharisee. As for zeal, persecuting the church, as for legalistic righteousness, faultless. But I love this, verse 7, whatever was to my profit, I now consider loss for the sake of Christ. Paul knew the prestige of being a Roman citizen, which was very desirable in his day. He was from Tarsus, where training would be compared to an elite Ivy League university. Historians record how Tarsus was actually a center for intellectual life. The personal teacher hired to teach Caesar Augustus was actually from Tarsus. Paul's education would have started at about 5 years old, and by the age of 10, he would have had the first 5 books of the Bible completely memorized. He really was considered to be the brightest among the brightest, even among his peers. He was even selected to study personally under Gamaliel, who was arguably the most famous rabbi in the first century, as he was a leading authority in the Sanhedrin. Paul's conversion was really a huge statement to the Jews, as he was one of the most respected leaders of his entire generation. Paul came to know Christ and realized that his self-esteem and personal significance was no longer wrapped up in his accomplishments. Rather, he discovered that his significance was found in embracing the humility of Jesus Christ. If we're not careful, we easily confuse our prominence for our significance, and they're two totally different things. May we have a healthy humility in the way we love, serve, and give into the lives of others, learning to be thankful and generous with all that's been entrusted to our care. We really were not created for our pleasure. We were created for God's purposes. First World Problems has been a focus to help us understand just how much we truly do have. When we understand this, we are better prepared to advance responsibly in God's plans for our lives.